Get in the game with NFL Sunday Ticket from Rev TV. You'll get every game every Sunday afternoon from around the league. Plus, NFL Sunday Ticket gives you up to 8 live games on one screen with Game Mix. You'll get that died and woke up in football heaven experience when you upgrade to NFL Sunday Ticket Deluxe, including Red Zone, the channel dedicated to every scoring play from every game. And if you add Rev TV HD to NFL Sunday Ticket Deluxe, you'll be entered to win big weekly prizes with NFL Wildcard Mania. Get in the game with NFL Sunday Ticket.
Nearly 200 Wyndham employees laid off. Sweeping immigration raids continue in New Providence. Residents of Blair Estates remember a fallen hero. Plus, government breaks ground on the Andre Rogers National Baseball Stadium. We've got those stories and a whole lot more tonight. I'm Juanitude and NB12 starts now. Topping news tonight, Baha Mar laid off 190 employees of the Wyndham Nassau Resort today. Officials say they plan to turn the hotel into a training facility. Leaders of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union are outraged, telling reporters they weren't informed about the layoffs until this morning. Simone Davis spoke with several laid-off workers who described the process as cold. They are now questioning how they will make ends meet.
Nearly 2 years after 140 Wyndham employees were laid off, nearly 200 employees were sent packing this morning. Now, while some employees say they saw the writing on the wall, they say it is the way it was handled that they have an issue with.
I think it's really, really ridiculous how we get treated in our own country.
As they trickled out of the hotel, some of the laid-off employees had tears in their eyes. Some told NB12 they worked at the property for more than 20 years. Baha Mar plans to turn the Wyndham into a training facility. Officials said in a statement this afternoon, Baha Mar has ensured that it has discharged all contractual obligations toward the affected workers. Kayla Green, who lost her job today, said officials locked the entrance to the hotel before they handed out termination letters.
I expected it, I saw the signs, but I thought they would do it in a more humane way.
Meantime, this employee who did not want to give her name says her heart bleeds for many of her former colleagues who have many mouths to feed and were already struggling to make ends meet.
After 26, 27, 31 years for some person is really, 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 really bad. But not for me, other persons who have younger children who is going to depend on that salary, only salary.
Another employee described the process as cold and heartless.
You know, everybody's in the departments working. They're walking around with this box with letters inside of these big envelopes and passing them to staff and telling the staff the hotel is closed and you have to leave.
President of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union, Nicole Martin, says they received a notice about the layoffs this morning. Martin, who arrived on the property, said it is not going down like this.
For the union, that's a big issue. We don't have a concern with what they want to do with this facility, but there's a heads of agreement that we've had plenty issues in the past to have to force the parties to be governed by. That protects the workers. It says that they are to maintain the level of employment and add to that number.
Martin and other union executives were expected to meet with Prime Minister Perry Christie this evening to discuss the latest job losses. The union president highlighted the impact of these layoffs.
They're also supposed to redeploy workers that are currently Wyndham employees or Crystal Palace employees. They're supposed to redeploy them after they've passed the waiting period. We're well past that waiting period. We have our attorneys doing what they think that they need to do, can do legally, because at some point some system has to work for the worker.
Senior VP of External Affairs and Administration at Baha Mar, Robert Sands, said in a statement, Baha Mar will convert the Crystal Palace Hotel to a training facility for Baha Mar employees effective November 7th, 2014. As previously planned, the property will close to paying guests and be used primarily to train thousands of hotel, food and beverage, security and other personnel in advance of Baha Mar's opening scheduled for late spring 2015. With the closure of the Crystal Palace to paying guests, approximately 190 employees will be made redundant. Reporting for NB12, I'm Simone Davis.
Nearly a week after Saturday's sweeping immigration raids, which resulted in 77 illegal migrants being held at the Carmichael Road Detention Center, immigration officers were back on the road today, carrying out yet another exercise. This time, officers visited businesses, construction sites, and a few homes. Kyle Joaquin has the details.
Immigration officers were at it again this morning, picking up more people suspected of being in the country illegally. But unlike Saturday's exercise, shanty towns and other homes weren't the only places officers visited. Instead, officers hit businesses and other establishments. This man was apprehended as he worked on a construction site on Nassau Street. Then, in this building just across from Junkanoo Beach on West Bay Street, officers had a tough time locating migrants. However, they were then tipped off by people nearby to go higher in the building. There, they found several people who could not show any documents proving they are authorized to live and work in the Bahamas. Most of them were women. Officers also stopped traffic to search several cars and a jitney. This woman was asked to exit a car and was escorted onto the bus. As the bus began to fill up, this Jamaican woman could be seen crying and singing. Next, it was on to the fish fry at Arawak Key, where this man tried to explain to officers that he had a valid work permit. However, the one he had in his hand had apparently expired.
February 22, February 22. So you already want to go home and see? No, that's not our policy.
Several employees of Twin Brothers Restaurant were also taken in. After that, it was on to Wolf Road, where several Chinese establishments were checked and even more people were picked up. This man was in the middle of serving a customer at this Chinese restaurant when he was apprehended.
Mommy, how you up? How you up, mommy? Sure?
At around noon, the bus headed to the Carmichael Road Detention Center, where the foreign nationals were processed. This irate woman was outside waiting because her friend, whom she claimed has a valid work permit, was also picked up.
Then take people without permit. You think that is right? Calling in there, that's my friend, and she have 10-year permit. And then carry her. You think that's nice?
So you're saying they carried her because she doesn't have a permit on her?
She had the permit on her.
And they still took her?
They still took her. She right in there. I don't have much to say anyhow, thank you.
The permit is in her hand then?
Yes, we have the permit in our hand.
Officer in charge of enforcement, Kirk Neely, said this was not a raid, but action based on complaints.
We were able to pick up Nigerian, Honduran, Colombians, Jamaican, and Haitian nationals. And so that goes to show you that once you're here illegally, nationality doesn't mean anything to us. We're here to do a job and to treat everybody equal and as one. Right? So whether you're pink, black, white, whatever nationality you are, and you commit an immigration offense, we're here to deal with it.
Officers picked up 40 today, including Jamaicans, Hondurans, and Colombians, but the majority of them were Haitians. He said they were not targeting any specific nationality.
We went on complaints, we went to different businesses and stuff like that, and a few houses, right, where we got complaint from anybody who was in that area who were walking the streets or whatever, and we checked and then had any status, they were taken into custody also for status check.
Now, Neely said overcrowding at the detention center is not a concern at this time, as repatriation flights are expected to take place sometime on Tuesday. Reporting from the Carmichael Road Detention Center for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
More than 100 emotional family members, friends, and Blair Estates residents held a somber vigil outside the residence of 44-year-old Andre Cartwright, who was shot dead as he attempted to protect his mother and stepfather during a home invasion last week Tuesday. Dozens of people held lit candles that illuminated the area in front of the home last night, prayed for strength, and sang hymns. Others held up photos of Cartwright, who they called an angel walking among us.
This young man, he was the hero that night, because what he did, they probably wouldn't even do in a million years. You know what I mean? Because he bent down protecting his mommy and his stepdaddy, who drew Blair together. Same young man. He was an angel. Let me put it like that. I was saying that from the beginning, from the break. He was an angel walking in the midst of us. Yes, man, he was funny.
Cartwright died in his stepfather's arms last week after he was shot during a home invasion at their home on Richmond Avenue. Police said around 1:40 a.m., 3 men kicked down the front door of Cartwright's home, which he shared with his mother, stepfather, and uncle. Cartwright shot one of the men in the chest, but he was also shot during that exchange. The president of the Blair Estates Association says they felt compelled to pay tribute to Cartwright, who has been a member of that community for decades.
We as a community had just wanted to show our support for them, our love, that we're all in this together. You know, one crime in a community does not just affect the mother and the father or siblings. It extends down to everyone in the community. And we wanted to show that solidarity, that we're in this together. We're here for you as a community. We support you, we love you, and we can do our part, and whatever you need us to do, we're here.
Also in attendance was Montague MP Richard Lightbourne, who says something must be done to address this country's crime problem.
So we really got to do something about crime in the country. And I don't know what needs to be done, but certainly it's not going to be solved by having stricter laws, stricter higher penalties, stronger court, stronger police force. But all of those things play into the resolution of the crime issue. They're all part of it, and unfortunately, so many things need to be addressed in this country. So you got to look at the root cause of crime. You've got to start dealing with that.
Police have arrested 2 suspects in connection with Cartwright's killing and said they are searching for a 3rd man. In other news, Bahamas Electrical Workers Union President Paul Maynard warns there would be hell to pay if Bahamas Electricity Corporation Executive Chairman Leslie Miller and BEC's board block the union's industrial agreement after months of negotiations with the government. Maynard said he understands the board recently voted against the union's proposed contract. Asked what he meant when he said there would be hell to pay, Maynard said Christmas and Junkanoo would be in jeopardy. Miller, who was contacted for comment last night, said while there are several issues with the contract before the board, it has not taken a vote. He said he called a special board meeting on Tuesday to examine the contract and expressed several concerns, including demands regarding lump sum payments and rostering.